I'd like to welcome everybody in to On Scene with RCSO. And of course, this is where our show begins. I'm one of your hosts, Lieutenant Lucas Grant.
And I'm Lieutenant Kimberly Lee.
And today, of course, we want to continue to start off by telling everybody about our 9 p.m. routine. Please make sure to take that step and lock your vehicles and your home so that you can protect your property so that you don't become a victim to one of these incidents where someone can break into your home, someone can break into your vehicle and steal your valuables.
And don't forget the things that are on the outside, like your sheds and things like that. It's summertime. Well, it's almost summertime, and people are kind of sort of looking for lawn equipment and stuff like that. I know that that's one of the things that when they go into the sheds, they're looking for those things. So just make sure if you have any valuables, you're locking those things up.
Absolutely. So we want to move on to our recruiting. And if you are interested in being a part of our team, please come down to the Sheriff's Office at 400 Walton Way, where we can get you in contact with someone, especially our recruiter, Lieutenant Mark Chastain. You can also go to our website to fill out an application there so that you can become a part of this great team.
All right. And so one thing that, and just with the recruiting, if you have not seen the episode with Lieutenant Chastain, please look at that. He will talk to you about getting onto the Sheriff's Office and if you have any questions and his contact information with that. And if you have any questions or comments or accommodations for any of our deputies or anybody who works here at the Sheriff's Office, don't forget about our CALEA comment portal. You can find that link on our Facebook or on our website. And on those, like if there's any complaints or anything like that, you'll probably more than likely hear from someone in our Internal Affairs Division. We do vet those, and if there is something that we need to ask you more questions about, you may get a telephone call from us, but we will identify ourselves as being a part of the Internal Affairs Division when we do call you. So if call us back on that. And also, you can make any comments or ask any questions on this site here where you are looking at the show. We have a question from a viewer, who is also a bobblehead winner. Okay. Because we did ask on one of the shows if you have a question to ask, and we will answer on the show. So, Anthony Dubois asks, what advice would you give a young person that wants to get into law enforcement?
All right. Well, first off, thank you for your question. Thank you for watching our show. That means a lot to us. But the advice I would give you is you have to be the age of 21. You also have to have a high school diploma or GED. You can't have any major things on your background when it comes down to wanting to be a law enforcement officer. But I also would tell you that you can come into the Sheriff's Office multiple ways. You could come into our jail where you work in our jail and then work your way up. You can also have a college background within criminal justice, or you can be someone who we do now as direct hires, where we hire someone who is coming out of the military and looking for a way to continue their career, and we bring them on within our agency. So that would be my advice to you.
All right. And also, and just a little, when you do get into law enforcement, then just kind of continue to do your research. Have a support system. We talked to our in-house counselor on one of the shows. If you hadn't seen it, go back and watch it. And it's just talking about how, you have those people who keep you grounded when you get into this business. So do your research. Come see us. Come visit us. Go to our website. More of those qualifications are there on listed on that website. And if you hadn't seen the show with Lieutenant Mark Chastain, he also talks about how to get into law enforcement and some of the advice and kind of some of his experience is here with the sheriff's office. He's been with us for a very long time, and he was your training officer.
Sure was.
Also, so he's always open to people giving him a call and just kind of talking to him. So if you are interested in working with the sheriff's office or getting into law enforcement, contact us, and someone will be there to talk to you and talk you through that.
So we want to move on to our missing person. That missing person is someone we've been talking about on multiple shows, and his name is Bruce Barker Jr. Mr. Barker was last seen on the 2600 block of Milledgeville Road. He also had a family member that spoke with him in April, but he did not want to, tell his whereabouts. Mr. Barker does have known medical conditions. But he does frequent the 2600 block of Milledgeville Road, the 1700 block of Kissing Bower Road, and the 2400 block of Wrightsboro Road. So if you come in contact with Mr. Barker, please reach out to the sheriff's office so that way we can locate him and get him back to his family safely.
And as always, if you have any information on him, no matter how small, give us a call. And let us know, speak to the on-duty violent crime investigator so you can give them that information to help them locate Mr. Barker. One of the things that I'm excited about is we have active Bolos, but now we get to, the first time on the show, we get to cancel a Bolo.
Yeah.
We did a couple shows and also through our office through media releases. We had Gregory Lewis Thornton, who was wanted for murder. He is one of the offenders who allegedly murdered a 13-year-old that occurred on the 700 block of Broad Street on March the 28th, 2023. And we had a chance to cancel that Bolo on May the 3rd.
That's correct.
We knew that Mr. Thornton was no longer in this area. He had traveled we had information that he had gone to the Maryland area. But when they apprehended him, he actually made it to Pennsylvania. So like I said, we get to cancel that. We'd like to thank several partners for that. The U.S. Marshals Southeast Regional Fugitive Task Force in Augusta, the U.S. Marshals Captive Fugitive Task Force Maryland, and the U.S. Marshals Regional Task Force in Pennsylvania. Working with our federal partners, it's always good to have them because they can assist with that. And with that homicide, we were also able to, thanks to the U.S. Marshals Regional Task Force in West Virginia, located and arrested Tia Shantae Jackson in West Virginia on April 5th in connection with that homicide of a 13-year-old here that occurred here in Richmond County. And I just want to, we did have some questions that comes up all the time when it comes to cases, active cases, about what information that we share to the public and what information that we keep. So as a homicide investigator, I want you to just kind of give your perspective of kind of what information that you would like our office through the PIO to share with the public, and why it's important to keep some things to yourself.
So number one, we definitely want to be able to get out the offender's information in regards to the case, so that the public can be aware and they can also try and help us locate that person. But when it comes down to the details surrounding the case, there aren't many that we can put out. And the reason for that is because we have to protect the integrity of the case for when it does go to a court proceeding. So I know a lot of people want to know the in-house details of how things may have occurred, what occurred, when it occurred, where it occurred, different things like that. But a lot of those things we cannot put out to you, and like I say, is to protect the integrity of the case.
And I know sometimes they want to know, like I said, those small details, we're still, especially for me, and I know probably for you, until it goes to court, sometimes we're still interviewing witnesses.
Absolutely.
And when we interview witnesses, we want to make sure that we get the information kind of from them and not something that they saw or heard on TV or, through the rumor mill or anything like that. Because what we do, we have to make sure that our witnesses are credible.
Correct.
When they're talking to us. So when we do go for those search warrants or arrest warrants, and the information that we swear to is coming from credible information.
Absolutely.
So one of the things I know that we don't want to taint any of the witness statements. And sometimes, and I work child sex crimes, that was my main investigations. A lot of times victims don't want to come out because of news coverage.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially with the child sex crimes and things like that, because they watch the news.
They sure do.
They hear the comments, the negative ones and the positive ones. And unfortunately, sometimes they hold dear to those negative comments that people have against them, and they don't want to be looked at in a bad or negative light.
Correct.
And I know with some of the violent crimes that some people are afraid to come forward. They don't want their names out there.
Or do they want retaliation?
Absolutely. So we try to keep those things as close to us as possible, because I know it's a story, and it can be a great story for some people, but it all comes down to the credibility.
Correct.
Even when people are filming for Facebook Live.
Yep.
And it still surprises me when there's a shooting or something, people will still be out on a scene. Sometimes witnesses are out there and they see their images out there, and they're not going to want to come forward because people have probably seen them, on these Facebook Live videos. So we just want you to know, we are a transparent agency.
Absolutely.
We do get the information out. If there's something that's out there that's going to harm the community and something like that, we're definitely going to get that information out. But just because we won't let you know, why a bunch of officers are gathered in one place, or, if, there's an operation going on, we kind of hold those things dear to us, because we want to make sure the community is safe, but also our officers are safe.
Absolutely.
If we give you the location of where they're about to do a search warrant or arrest warrant on someone who's armed and dangerous, that can put them in danger.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody goes home, and everything that we do is, when it goes to court, it can, have some justice for our victims.
Absolutely.
And nothing goes to question about something that we didn't get because we gave out too much information.
So our events that are coming up, we have on May 10th, our Shred Day, which will be located at 401 Walton Way, and that starts at 10 a.m. and it goes all the way to 1 p.m. So if you have any old documents or current documents that you would like to get shredded, please bring them out on that day. We also have on May 17th, this is going to be our Salvation Luncheon. That's going to be at the 1833 Broad Street. That's from 12 to 1 p.m. And then we have on May 19th our citizen surveys at the Sam's Club, located at 596 Bobby Jones Expressway, and that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's where you can come out. You can let us know if there's things that you see within the community that you would like to see done better, or if there's something that you see that causes an issue within your neighborhood, you can bring that up. If you would like to recognize an officer, you can also bring that up. We want to hear from you, and this is a great way to interact with the officers that are going to be there at that location. And they can also provide you with, educational pamphlets that we have and give out. Also, when it comes down to the 9 p.m. routine, we'll give out those. We'll give out other programs that we do as well within our agency, so that you can become a part of.
All right. Well, I hope to see everybody on May the 10th for our Shred Day, so we can say hello. And also, when we return, we will be talking to our intelligence Criminal Intelligence Director, Lateisha Mosquera.
It's going to be a great treat, so make sure
So
you
we're
stay
here
tuned.
with
Our special guest, Miss Lateisha Mosquera. She's the Criminal Intelligence Director of our intelligence unit. You're also over our Records Bureau. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Well, Miss Mosquera, if you'll tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, how long you been with the agency?
I've been with the agency for almost 10 years.
Okay. So you're over the Records Bureau. You're also over the intelligence unit. That's your primary focus, is that the intelligence unit?
That's correct.
Okay. So if you will, just tell us a little bit about some of the things you and the analysts in your division do for the agency.
Okay, we do a lot of the background work for the Criminal Investigations Division as well as for Road Patrol, for hotspot policing and community intelligence led policing efforts, where we'll look at hotspot policing, where crimes are occurring at, the dates and times and the particular crimes that are going on, to make sure that Road Patrol supervisors know where to have their people deployed at in instances where we need to develop plans for individuals to deploy, whether it be during mid-shift hours, during the daytime, specific to crimes. We'll do a lot of the analytical features for those.
Okay, so that also helps out the operations side of, like you're saying, of how they deploy the manpower.
That's correct.
Okay. So when it comes down to the Intel division, I know we also do different programs of trying to help citizens who may have warrants, misdemeanor warrants. I won't say felonies, but misdemeanor warrants. You've came up with some programs in the past. I know one of them's called Operation Lifted Cloud.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Operation Lifted Cloud was a collaborative effort that we had with the solicitor's office, the clerk of court's office, as well as some other different departments, where we actually assisted some of the individuals in Richmond County that had outstanding bench warrants. Initially, we had run a full analytical scope of it to see how many individuals in Richmond County had warrants, and we had over 1,300 individuals with bench warrants through state court. These all were in regards to traffic offenses that had occurred in Richmond County, or other charges that they didn't go to court on, a lot of that due to COVID. So what we did was we reviewed every single individual's file. We gave them the opportunity to go online and to apply for this particular program, and of those individuals, we saw and we were able to clear up over 800 warrants for those individuals in a 2-day program that we hosted at Greater Young Zion Baptist Church. From those individuals that did participate in the program, they were able to clear up those warrants at a 75% reduced rate.
Oh, well, that's really good.
That's pretty good.
Especially with so many negative comments that we receive in the law enforcement, career of how we don't help many people. And this program right here goes to show that we are trying to help people. We're not just here to arrest people. We're wanting to help them be able to live normal lives, get those warrants that are on their back off, so that they can move forward, don't have to look over their shoulder, So I really applaud you and your team on that effort right there.
Thank you.
I remember when that came out, and we got a lot of Facebook comments, and they were talking about, oh, it's a trap, and, don't believe that, and when you go down there, they're going to arrest you. But that clearance rate that's pretty high. And a lot of times people don't go out for jobs, and they don't look for things to kind of better themselves because they feel like they have something over their back, so they're going to get arrested. And one of the things I know the Sheriff's Initiative is, the community, helping the community and, trying to lessen the crime rate here. So if we can talk about that just a little bit, there are some other programs that we have here in Augusta, spearheaded by your division, and that's the Augusta Giving Back program. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, Augusta Giving Back, we started that up in 2018. It was a program that was derived to help offenders that have been involved in gun violence as well as victims. Through that program, we assess these individuals based off of their school background as well as where they're currently at in life. Some individuals have substance abuse problems. Some of them have other issues where they're not able to get a job. So through the program, we actually go in, we call it meeting them where they're at. So we see what services they need. We provide them with the services, and the collaborative effort with us as well as with the district attorney's office. We go out to them. We don't call them into the sheriff's office. You'll see us in the community with the orange shirts on, and we go to them and we let them know, hey, look, we know you've been an offender in a previous crime, or you've actually been a victim in a crime, and to help deter you from committing another crime or being a victim in a future crime, we'd like to offer you these services.
How's that program going?
That program, we due to COVID, we kind of had fallen off for a while. We initially went out and we reached 300 individuals, and to date we have 117 individuals that are currently enrolled in the program. I did actually speak to one of my participants this morning who's getting ready to go off to truck driving school.
Okay.
So we did get him back in the program. He was able to get his high school diploma. He went through barber school at Augusta Tech, and now he's getting ready to start truck driving school.
That's pretty successful.
Yes.
How when you go out to the community and reach out to, you say either they were a victim of gun violence or what may be a offender of gun violence, how receptive are they to this program?
Initially, it's a lot of hesitance because they want to know how we know all this information on them. But educating them and letting them know that we're there for them, because a lot of these individuals are a victim of the circumstances or a victim of the community that they're currently in, and they don't know what's available to them. So when you have members of the law enforcement office coming to your house telling you that they want to give you something, a lot of them are not going to be receptive, such as with the warrant program that we've previously done. It's all about us getting them to buy into the services that we offer them and getting them to understand that we're here to meet you where you're at and get you the tools that you need. So when we go out there, most times they'll say, yes, I'll sign up for the program. And it's not until we continuously call them and tell them, hey, you have an appointment here, or hey, we need you to go here to do this assessment, that they understand that it's the sheriff's office acting in a proactive way to make sure they're a productive citizen in Richmond County.
Okay. And so what's the number one thing, if there is a number one thing, that you see the participants in the Giving Back program, what's their need, like their number one need?
Number one need is educational services. Some of them need work assessment. That's another thing that a lot of them need, is that we don't want to get them a job just to say, oh, we placed you in a job. Because if we give them a job and they're like, I don't like this job, then they're not going to stay there. So initially we have to complete a work assessment on them, which we have partnered with American Works in the past, and they've done those initial assessments to find out what this person's goals are, what are their short-term goals as well as their long-term goals. And through having the assessment done, we can pair them with the job opportunities that are available to them through Augusta Tech or through American Works or Serenity Behavior. But before we put them on a job, we want to make sure that they're going to be an asset to the agency where they're going to be actually working.
Okay,
And
so
there's a pretty big team that y'all have when it comes down to the Augusta Giving Back program. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if you can, just name some of the partners that are involved in this organization.
We actually, as of right now, we have American Works, we have Augusta Partnership for Children, Augusta Tech is on board. We have Child Support who is on board, there have been a great player in this, because a lot of individuals we are going and we make contact with. Some of these individuals, they can't get their driver's license due to child support issues or unpaid fines, which we can then go back to the court services and get that taken care of. But for most of these instances, a lot of the individuals have child support that they're in the arrears on. So we'll have to contact the child support office to let them know that they're in the program to get the suspension lifted, to get them in line, and then that in turn builds that relationship with us and the participant to show them that we're actually working for them, because now they have their license. Then they have to do the work assessment. So that check-in on Thursdays that they have to do, or we're calling them, or we're sending someone out to speak with them, or even if they're not seeing us, they then can, if they go to their probation officer, we're partnered with DCS as well. So we have the stakeholders on board that can relay that information. So if we're not out there actively seeing those individuals on a daily or weekly basis, we can reach out to our stakeholders and partners. And through Citizens Police Academy, we've had several individuals that once they find out what our program is, they're asking how can they be involved and what can they do to assist Augusta Giving Back.
So has the program faced any difficulties when it comes down to trying to help these individuals obtain jobs?
No, we haven't had any difficulties. It's more so after COVID when we weren't able to get in touch with some of these individuals. Mm-hmm. The difficulty in the program is the reoffending.
Okay.
So we have individuals that have turned down the program, and I would say with anywhere between 3 to 6 months, we've seen them come back across our desk as an individual that has been an offender in another shooting, or they have been killed, or either they've been shot. So that's what our challenges are, getting the buy-in from the individuals. They don't understand that this is a benefit. This is something that the sheriff's office is doing to make them productive citizens in Richmond County. It's not for us to be after them, or they'll say we're targeting them. That's not what our goal is. Our goal is to give them the tools that they need so we can deter the crime that they may be committing or they may be a victim of.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought that up. When it comes down to them either becoming a victim or basically, reoffending, because having the opportunity to work in homicide, and some of those individuals you and the stakeholders have been trying to come in contact with to help, these are the same people that may turn it down or that may just say, forget it, and these are the same cases that I end up working, whether they are a suspect or whether they are a victim. And it's a lose-lose situation in there, especially when we're trying to help them as best as we can to give them a second chance at life. And there's so many that don't want that second chance. Why do you think so many don't want that chance?
It's not that they don't want the chance. They don't know what to do with it. And we have to consider what we think as the big things are the small things. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them don't understand until you sit down and you have those individual conversations with them and help them set goals and tell them how to obtain those goals. So they haven't had anyone in their life to show that positivity to them, right, to show what they need. And so to us, we got our driver's license at 16 years old, 18 years old, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But here you have a 30-year-old that goes and gets his license, and he's showing his friends and all that, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to ride dirty.
Right.
But it's the small, big things to them.
Correct.
Once they see those things and they see that you're there to actually help them and mentor them and say you don't have to resort to the crimes that you're committing. You don't have to resort to selling drugs. And then they start telling their friends that. I've got one individual, if I don't check in with him on Thursdays, he's calling me.
That's
so
good.
It's accountability. Yeah. And we're at a time now where they don't see that from law enforcement. Most of their interactions with law enforcement are going to be negative. Right. So when they know somebody's calling to check on them, outside of, a lot of these individuals have been providers for their families. Mm-hmm. And they've resorted to these things because they've had to provide for their families. That's what they tell us in our initial sit down and assessment with them, is that I didn't have anybody that cared for me. I didn't have anybody that told me what I was doing was wrong, because so long as I was bringing money into the house, I was doing what I was supposed to. Yeah. So when these crimes are committed, it's in an attempt to take care of their family. But if you show them there are other ways, and to us, we know that, but to them, it's a totally different mindset. Yep. So it's about the breeding positivity amongst the community, and that's why I said it's going to take the whole community in order for us to deter crime, whether it's community policing, intelligence-led policing. It's going to take us as a whole to fix the issues that we have within our community.
Now, how can the community, because I'm sure you named all the stakeholders, but there's always a need for more. How can they participate?
They can participate by reaching out through the Community Service Division, or they can get in touch with the Intelligence Division, and we'll make sure that we give them the pamphlets and the information and let them know exactly what we do and what they can give us they can give us the opportunity to share. Okay, this is what we're looking for, and they can find out if this is what they offer and what it needs to bring to the table, what they want to bring to the table.
Okay. And so we're talking about, of course, that which two positive things that come out of the sheriff's office to assist and to deter crime and to make people less susceptible to be a victim or offender of a crime, especially violent crimes. And one thing I know that when we talked to Chief Clayton, we talked about kind of like the stats, and we've talked about intelligence-based policing, hotspots, and things like that. And what we do know is, like, over the past 10 years, there have been a reduction in crimes. But can you tell us what you found out just, in your division of how the crime trend is going?
Yes, it has, but significantly over the last 10 years, we have seen a reduction in crime. And we attribute that to a lot of the zone concept that we've changed. We went from beats to zones, for one, and that gave more personnel to respond in particular locations, as well as we started utilizing intelligence-led policing, which means that we look at the factors for Part 1 crimes, which will be our violent crimes and burglaries, entering autos, things of that nature, and we're deploying personnel to hotspots, telling them that they need to be in specific areas at specific times to help deter that crime or catch the criminals committing those crimes. So over the last 10 years, we have seen a significant decrease simply because we're utilizing intelligence-led policing to tell the deputies, this is what we need from you. We're doing action planning based off of recommendations from the analysts in my division. They will deploy based off of those recommendations.
Okay. And one of the things that we did talk about off the while we were getting ready for the show, that unfortunately there are crimes that are going up, and that's the gun violence.
Right.
With the things that we have in place, that's something that, when we talk about proactive, sometimes, people think about a use of force where we have, we deploy every officer and we're, we do try to find those guns and things like that and get those off the street. But I think and I wanted you on here because I just think it's just really important that we are here for the community. We're not just here for the show of force. We're not, we're going to show up. You call us, we're going to show up no matter what. But we're trying to help, and we want to get the community involved. We have a lot of people who like to make comments and like to, say negative things about this community. And I know we all have a stake in this community. But, maybe instead of the comments, the negative comments, kind of find out how you can help. Especially if you live here in the community. People are like, what are y'all doing? What are you doing to help, or what are you doing? And one thing I tell them is we show up. That's what we're doing. That's our job, is to show up. But, we are looking for ways always, and if anybody has any ideas to assist us when we show up, or how can we do things outside of our 8:30 to 5 or 9 or 12-hour shifts, because most of that is a lot of volunteer work, a lot of overtime work that people are doing outside of their shifts. So like I said, that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on here, because it's something that when we talk about intelligence division, I just thought y'all hung out on Facebook all day. That's what people. That's what. They just, they're just down there hanging out on Facebook all day.
Yeah, we're scrubbing everybody's Facebook.
Yeah,
let them tell it.
Yeah, that's what they do all day. But even just with the records division, like I said, y'all aren't just stats. Y'all aren't just the Facebook police, but even like I said, the records division, I couldn't do it. One of the things that I know in the Internal Affairs Division, we have open records requests for reports and stuff like that. And, of course, we call y'all for that. But you do much more in the Records Division. Kind of tell them about kind of the services in the community and just within the Sheriff's Office y'all are responsible for.
With the Records Division, they do all the background checks. We previously, after COVID, we were doing background checks by appointments on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We've ramped things back up. We're doing Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 every day. With that being said, that requires individuals to come in. We like to have them done by appointments, but some people they get a job, and the job tells them I need a background check right now. Mm-hmm. So we've started assisting the community by just letting them do the walk-in if they're unable to make an appointment and they need it right then. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, we do a lot of the differential reporting. We had to get innovative after COVID to determine ways to assist the community, because previously you called a deputy. If your tag was stolen off of your vehicle, you needed to see a deputy. If your trash can was stolen, you needed to see a deputy. So we had to get innovative with calls for service after COVID to make sure the deputies were able to still respond to in-progress calls with our intelligence-led policing that helped them be in the places that they needed to be in. So with that, we derived differential reporting, where we have trained all of the clerks and the supervisors in the Records Bureau. They now are able to do those reports that typically a deputy would have to come out. If your tag was stolen, you would have to come see a deputy. So a lot of the reports are done from the Records Bureau.
So with the background checks, that's good that y'all are been able to, get everybody to come back in Monday through Thursday. But what are the requirements they need to bring down? Is it a certain fee? Do they need to bring license or anything like that? What all do they need to bring when they're trying to get a background check?
An individual trying to obtain a background check will need to bring in $10 cash, photo ID, and a secondary form of ID. It can be a passport, social security card, something of that sort. But they will need those three things in order to secure a background check.
So I know myself, people within my division, we go and sit out front where we are the first contact when citizens do come in. And a lot of them come in and they be like, well, hey, how you doing? Doing well. What can I assist you with? And a lot of them are wanting to come down and get reports. Is there a certain area we need to direct them to when coming in so that they can get to the records division?
In most instances, they can just come to the records window.
Okay.
We do try to encourage everybody to call ahead of time to make sure that report is available for them. What we do is if they call and they tell us the case number, we're able to locate the report. We'll have it printed out for them. All reports are made available to citizens. If they're involved in that particular report, that will be released to them free of charge.
Okay.
And we'll have it printed out for them. So we encourage everybody to call in and make sure the report's available. That way we'll have it for them and it'll expedite the services for them.
So we also have, I know I've come in contact with it where someone will come down and ask if they have a warrant, right? And a lot of the times, that could be a scary situation for a person that may be sitting out there who's never dealt with that, like a new deputy or something. But we take them over. We sit them down. We also come speak to, one of the clerks that's in the records division. They run all that information. We either later find out that they are a wanted subject. They bring that information back out, and things are taken care of the way they need to be. So I say all that to say this. Also in the records division, there's something called the warrants division.
Correct.
What all do they, handle responsibility-wise?
The warrants division, they work Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. During those hours, they are responsible for entering every single warrant that is taken out in Richmond County into the Georgia Crime Information Center. So if on the average, they may get anywhere between 100 to 200 warrants a week. Now, that outside of those warrants that they get and they have to enter in, as well as they have to print those, create files for them, they also have validations they do every month. That validation process would be anywhere between 700 to 1,100 warrants that they have to validate. That information comes down from Georgia Crime Information as well as from the GBI. They have to validate missing persons, guns, any type of property, as well as the actual individual if a warrant was taken out on them. They have to pull that file, verify that that person doesn't have any other warrants in the system, and then they have to sign off and then reply back to GBI. This all has to be done within 20 days, 20 working days. So that division is staffed when it's full-time, when it's staffed fully, it has 5 employees in there, and they're responsible for handling that validation process every week on top of the new 200 warrants they may get in a week.
Wow.
It's a very important job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of recruiting, Lieutenant Chastain is coming out. And so what does it take to work in the Intel division if someone's interested in working in Intel? And what does it take to work in what qualifications for the records division?
For criminal intelligence, we're looking at candidates usually that have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. 2 of our applicants currently right now have master's degree in intelligence. So we like to see someone with a bachelor's degree coming through the door with some type of criminal intelligence or criminal justice background. But our division, we have to be trained. We have multiple trainings that we go to each year, and it's 140 required hours that we have each year. So they'll do social media investigations, criminal investigative investigations, crime analysis. It's a whole slew of classes that they'll take. Some of them are funded by GBI, by the FBI. So those are the standards that we try to adhere to for the personnel in our criminal intelligence division. But for Records Bureau, it is an entry-level position, so we do look for individuals that want a career in law enforcement, or maybe they want to serve on the civilian side. We encourage people to apply for that. Minimum qualifications would be high school diploma or a GED, some type of customer service background. But like I said, it is an entry-level position, and we take them. If they apply, go through the interview process, and we'll start them out. Some of the individuals that have started out as a records clerk, some of them have gone on to go into our intelligence division as well as our crime scene unit. So it's an entry-level position, but there is room for growth in those divisions as well.
And I'm glad you said that, because I know I'm not the Facebook police like y'all are. But I do look at comments and things like that. And one of the things that I saw over the weekend was someone saying that there's no room for growth here at the sheriff's office. So like your division is one of those hidden gems here with the records and also criminal intelligence division. And like you said, someone just went from intel to the crime scene division as a civilian employee. So and she had, I believe, a master's degree, not master's, but a bachelor's degree in forensics. So there is room for growth here. Like I said, the recruitment bug is coming out here. So if you are thinking about working at the sheriff's office and just don't really know where you fit in or where to go, records division is like one of the best places I think you can start, because you see everything within the agency. You get to kind of talk to everybody, meet everybody from deputies to investigators, kind of pick their brain a little bit. So like I said, the recruitment bug comes out when I talk about your division, because you can just come in, start working, and you can grow from there.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that we look for when we're looking for other people in other divisions and stuff like that. Like, what were your goals, and what are your goals, and why did you come here? Why, so if you're a civilian and want to get into law enforcement, we're always hiring, I feel like, for records clerks, because they do go to other divisions and things like that. So give us a call, apply, and then go from there.
Well, Ms. Mosquera, we want to both thank you for being a part of this show today, because you are such a great asset here in the sheriff's office. But as we come to the end of our show, once again, I want to say thank you. And please keep up the great work that you do here for our sheriff's office.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.